What is up, guys? This is going to be my trailer breakdown for Legends of Tomorrow Season 3, Episode 11, titled Here I Go Again. And as the title suggests, this episode is all about, and obviously the trailer suggests, it's all about a time loop. So with that in mind, let's get into the breakdown. But before that, let's watch the trailer.
Repeat myself.
We're stuck in a time loop.
Something really bizarre is happening.
Oh.
Hedgehog Day.
Groundhog Day? What's that?
Repeat myself.
Stuck in this time loop.
You ready?
Repeat myself.
We're stuck in a time loop.
DC's Legends of Tomorrow. All new episode Monday at 8, 7 Central on the CW.
So this episode is following a time loop that's where Zari is the main focus. It was announced a while ago that there will be a Zari-centric episode. I was hoping that it was going to surround not her as the main character specifically, but her as the main character in her environment, like in Kahndaq, where she is from in the comics. And I was hoping that maybe Black Adam would show up, but that's obviously not happening in the slightest. And this episode has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is just Zari being the person who was stuck in the time loop with everyone else not knowing they're in a time loop for now. That she's probably going to tell them, and it's pretty crazy that the show hasn't done it yet. It is a time travel show, and so it's just a little weird that they haven't done a time loop centric episode. But it is an interesting idea. It worked for the one movie that I saw it in, Edge of Tomorrow. It was done really well, and that was it was an action movie. It was an action movie with time loop, and this is an action show with a time loop. So it will probably work really well. With that in mind, the trailer doesn't really give anything away outside of that, but the synopsis does, and that is why I'm going to read it right now. The synopsis reads, "Finding your place. After the team returns from a mission, Zari finds herself trapped in a time loop that results in the Waverider blowing up over and over again. Zari soon begins to suspect that the answer to what is happening might lie among her fellow shipmates' secrets, but investigating them, she starts to understand her place on the team." And then it says all the actors that star, and the key actor that we know here that stars that isn't in most other episodes is Kenan Lonsdale, who plays Wally West. So this is the episode where Wally West debuts. He won't join the team until the next episode. So he's not at all in this storyline of the time loop, so he probably won't show up until the end of the episode with a big reveal that he's there, and then he joins the team in the next episode. I doubt he will have any significance in this episode, which is why he's only joining the team in the next episode. But I'm definitely excited to see Kenan Lonsdale, or Wally West, join the team. He was, I think, number 2 on my top 5 arrowverse characters that I want to join the Legends. Number 1 was Constantine, and I really want him to join as well. But Kid Flash was number 2. So the fact that he's joining is a pretty cool thing. And also, if Mullis happens to be Savitar, which was a theory of mine, we could get some cool speedster battles with Kid Flash. This episode will be the return of Rip Hunter, as it says in the guest starring for this episode on the Arrowverse wiki. It says 3 characters that are guest starring: Rip Hunter, John Constantine, and Gary Green. About John Constantine, I thought he was going to return for just 1 episode, or actually I thought he was going to return for 2, but at the end of the last episode he left. So I was like, that's the end of it, right? But it seems like he's back again for this episode, even though the trailer and the promotional photos and the synopsis has nothing to say about that whatsoever. But if he is returning for this episode, I am very excited. Now, Rip Hunter, we saw in the previous episode that it was a big reveal that he escaped time prison, or at least I think that's what it was called. And this episode will be focusing more so about it won't be focusing around Rip Hunter, but he will show up in the episode probably near the end, along with Kid Flash. I think either at like the last 2 scenes, Rip Hunter shows up, and it's a big reveal for what he's doing, and then the last scene, Kid Flash shows up. But it's just that Rip Hunter is showing up in this episode. He hasn't been on the show for a while. I think since episode 5. He is very on and off ever since season 1. It is a little weird, but he is coming back for this episode, along with John Constantine and Gary Green. It's also a possibility that Rip Hunter's return is connected to Wally West's debut on the show. It might be that Rip Hunter knows that they need Kid Flash's help with Mullis and their whole gang, so that he goes and recruits them. And I think that, like I've said before, if Mullis is Savitar, and Rip Hunter knows this by now, probably, he will go get a speedster. And he can't get any of the other speedsters like Barry Allen, because he's busy with his own stuff. But Kid Flash is a character that isn't doing anything right now, and Constantine's whole thing in season 1 was recruiting people who meant nothing to the time stream, and Kid Flash isn't doing anything right now, so he can leave, go on the Waverider, and help them with Mullis, who might be Savitar, which, like, why else would they recruit Kid Flash? Rip Hunter, why else would he recruit Kid Flash, unless if they're going up against a speedster, and why would he go specifically for Kid Flash? But I think it's a huge possibility that Rip Hunter, his return, is connected to Kid Flash's debut. But back to the synopsis, it says, after the team returns from a mission, the mission being to the 70s or 80s, I don't actually know what this is, but they're clearly going to a couple decades to the past. Reason, I don't really know, maybe to investigate the 6 that Mullis said, or just, maybe it's probably just an aberration, or an anachronism, that's this season's aberrations, but probably just going to fix an anachronism in the 70s or 80s, which is actually pretty cool. I like the fact that the episodes are not focusing around anachronisms, because that would be really boring. The episodes that did, other than episode 4, whichever episode Zari appeared, every episode that focused around a minor anachronism were the worst episodes of the seasons, which is why the fact that they're doing it off screen, or at least in the beginning of the episode where it's not the focus of the episode, is a huge bonus. It's definitely a good thing. The fact that the anachronisms are not taking major time out of the episodes it's a thing that I was worried about going into the season. Like, watching the season, I was thinking these anachronisms are really boring. So the fact that it's off screen, or at least at the beginning of the episode where it's not the main focus, that's really great. Something we know from the synopsis and the trailer is that the Waverider keeps on blowing up because of this time loop. To be frank with you guys, I don't have a clue what is going on with this time loop. I don't have a clue what's going on with the Waverider blowing up, and I don't have a clue what's going on with Zari finding her place, investigating the other shipmates, and understanding her place on the team. I actually have no clue what that means, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe this synopsis didn't give away too much along with the trailer, because I really have no idea. There's really no secrets that we know about the team that Zari doesn't. Nothing comes to mind, and her place on the team right now is the new girl, so there's really nothing comes to mind as to what this is, what this her suspecting the other shipmates, investigating them, and finding her place on the team. Nothing comes to mind with that. It might be like something connected to the 6, and she's only there because of her totem or something like that, but I really have no clue about that, which, again, might be a good thing. There are actually a lot of characters that show up in this episode that don't normally. There's Kid Flash, Constantine, Rip Hunter, Gary Green, and the last one, the 5th one, is Gideon. Now, Gideon obviously shows up in every single episode, but in this episode, the physical form of Gideon is returning for like the 3rd time, and the last time that she showed up, it was really weird because Rip Hunter kissed her. It was really weird. I mean, she is a computer, so it's definitely really weird, but she is returning for this episode. Somehow, I'm guessing she's going to be connected to this time loop, because you see Zari talking to her, so Zari's investigating with her. I don't know why she's in physical form. I really don't know. This episode is really up in the air in terms of things that I know at this point, which, again, it might be a good thing. Who knows? But Gideon is here in physical form, which is no doubt connected to either this time loop or Zari investigating this time loop. So I'm actually pretty excited for this episode, although I think Zari might not work as like a main character and the focus of the episode, because so far she's been a pretty subpar character in general. I think that she can be a cool character, her powers are cool, but her character, her personality is not really enjoyable to watch, so her being the main character of this episode might not go well for this episode, because, like I said, she's not the greatest character. I think anybody else on the ship could be the main character of this episode, and it would work better, because she's just the worst character on the ship at the moment, which is why this centric Zari episode might not work as well as in the writers think it might. But other than that, I'm actually pretty excited for this episode. I think the concept is pretty cool. The guest starring for this episode is out of this world, with John Constantine and Rip Hunter, and also Kid Flash, who isn't a guest star because he is a series regular at this point, but I mean, this is the first episode he's showing up on, so I'd consider him a guest star. Also, if I'm not 100% sure if I said this, but he's not showing up in the next episode at all. He's showing up in the episode after that, episode 13, where he will join the team. I don't know why he's not showing up in the next episode, but I'm guessing we'll figure it out in this episode this Monday. So let me know what you thought about the trailer and this episode in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.